to paycheckcity.com. And that will outline every job, every level of a job in every city in the United States. I do it quite often. It blows your mind. And then we also discuss benefits. And that is exactly what my nephew just did. He just graduated from, somewhere in Ohio, and then he got a job in Troy University in the South. And he applied for a job at Stanford as the football marketing person. And he got the job because I think there was a little influence there along the way. He knew how to negotiate his salary. And the San Diego Union Tribune in February 27 had this wonderful article, 5 ways to answer the compensation requirement question. When and how do you say, I want X? If you don't pay me X, I will not take the job. Well, that's not what you say, but this little article is a wonderful article, and I discussed it with my nephew who got the job, and he said, Aunt Donna, I use the power number 4, which says, power number 4, communicate that you would love to discuss your salary requirement once a mutual interest has been established. So it has nothing to do with money. It's all the other things. This allows you to assess the function of the position you are applying for and fairly evaluate what you should be compensated for this particular engagement at this particular time. So he was very happy. And I end on a very good note. I look forward to your questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Let's wait for the questions at the end of all the speakers, if you don't mind. Okay, so our next speaker is Grisel Cabrera, and she is a CSU San Marcos student who was chosen to attend the National Conference for College Women Student Leaders, NCWSL for short. This program is usually attended at the University of Maryland every year in June. However, because of the pandemic, NCWSL has been offering the program virtually. So Grisel is one of 3 students who was supported by our branch and will share her experiences at the conference with us. Okay, Grisel.
Hi, good morning, and thank you so much for helping me to stay here and invite me here. So when I talk about my experience for the conference, so was very interesting for me, very good. The principal points that I learned in this conference was that to be strong, to be faithful for my beliefs, my convictions. And then one show I listened to the other women talking about experience, about how they can overcome the situation and have a successful in their life, in all aspects of the life, money, professional, and in the life. It's I think this is so much inspirational for me. And one thing is that to be network, so start open, ask questions, ask for help, because sometimes students, or especially for example for me, I am a foreign student, I born in another country, in another language, so sometimes it's hard, it's shy to ask, or we don't know the way. With this conference, I can see information how to ask and which place I can look for help. And the other point that I see very interesting is about adversity, the adversity and diversity. So how this woman can overcome this situation, to be strong, to be ask questions, and so focus in the and the wall, focus on the wall, and continue. So don't stop. I remember the one of them say, if some look struggle or problems in one area, so just keep them and continue with another place, ask for help with another place, and continue focusing in the goal. And the diversity, the most interesting was that diversity. So they said diversity is each person is unique. So the difference is the heart, the mind, is that you can make the things. It's a model for to move and make the things. It's not to pay attention for the stereotypes, ideas, or maybe movements that they can disturb or take your attention. So focus on the goal. Focus on what you want to do. I think so is the most important that you want. If you know what is your way, what is your path, this is the most important that you do. So I remember when a quote for Seneca, they say, show me to the walls, I will return leading the pack. So this was I think the most strong message of this conference. So things more with values, respectful, ask questions, ask for help, but never stop, never stop, overcome the situation. So these problems, the situation is for to be strong. So open mind, be positive. So yeah, I have one problem, I have a thing, this for solve and keep going. So negative things, so be strong and keep going. Respect and strong. This is I think this is the most important thing that I listen and believe in ourselves. This is the most important thing they say in this conference. So they don't pay attention in around the movement. So just pay attention in what they want and their passion. The passion they connect with us. When they speak about their experience, they connect the passion, the love for what they are to do. As I think it's the most strong message I received in this conference.
Great. Thank you, Grisa.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, I would like to share with you my experience. Yes, I was a community action grant recipient in 2013 while I was living in Kentucky. And Morehead State University had a state-of-the-art space science center, very active with projects connected with NASA and other organizations. And 3 AAW members, including myself, came up with the idea of starting a camp for high school girls. The director of the Space Science Center, he was very excited to start a new program, but we needed startup funds. So right away, I submitted a community action grant request, which was awarded. So to give you a synopsis of our project, the Space Track program was for high school girls and fosters interest in STEM fields, particularly in space science and engineering. So a one-week camp enabled students to construct a miniature satellite and launch their device tied to a balloon from the roof of the Space Science Center. And then the girls recorded, collected, and analyzed. And on the next day, the students gave an oral presentation on their data. And I remember they worked on all night on it, and they did a great job. So this program was a rewarding experience that gave girls the opportunity to realize their potential to pursue careers and education in STEM, helping to close the gender gap. Personally, I could see the difference after 1 week. They were empowered. So now I would like to introduce our key speaker, Carol Pletcher. We are fortunate to have Carol, who is a past AAUW American Fellowship recipient, to tell us how this fellowship impacted her life. Beyond helping Carol cover her school and childcare costs, this fellowship nurtured her sense of obligation to pass the honor forward by creating new fellowship and scholarship programs by mentoring women around her. Carol?
No pressure. No pressure. Oh my.
No pressure.
Well, how amazing. 45 years later to be reminiscing about the AAUW Fellowship, right? What an interesting thing it did for my head. But first, let me do a shout out to Bobby. You all know her maybe even better than I know her, but the only thing that I can say is be careful when you tell her a secret, because the next thing you know, you will be asked to do this, you will be invited to do that. And the best part is everything she suggested to me has turned out to be a wonderful way to get integrated into San Diego. I moved here 7 years ago, and she's clearly one of the best resources and best friends that I made since I've been here.
And I'm going to give you one more suggestion. Speak just a little bit louder, please.
All right, let me turn this up and I will talk louder. So many thanks for inviting me. One last moment to reminisce. So I will tell you a little bit, but not too much. The fellowship filled the financial gap for my last year in graduate school. And so like many other women, I had special needs. I had a small child, a little bigger than a toddler, but not quite a preschooler. And so my funding to finish my research the grant was running out. And so the fellowship filled that gap, and like many other women. But the real secret for the money was parking tickets. When you're working in a lab, every moment in the lab counts. And so there was paid parking for us, and it was 20 minutes away from when I dropped off my child. 20 minutes compared to almost no time at all from parking illegally across the street from my building. And so I had a game. How many days could I park illegally to compensate for the parking ticket? It turns out it was, I think, 18 days. If I could park illegally for 18 days, got a ticket, it was a wash. Now, my husband was quite sure that I didn't keep very good records, but it wasn't too bad. And so thanks for the parking tickets. So in the 2 to 3 years following the award, I made presentation to every branch or every AUW branch and chapter that invited me. I told them, maybe I didn't tell them the parking ticket story, I don't remember that, but I told them about the impact on hours in the lab and being able to get my degree finished. 12 years ago, AUW published a follow-up story. I said yes, and again, I was reminded about those early days. And today, another yes to the request to share my story. But my story is not very different from many other people, I'm sure. So on behalf of the thousands, 250 this year, in 4 years, you give away 1,000. In 45 years, how many thousands have you supported? It's a fabulous story. The AUW fellowships make a difference.
Uh-oh. We can't hear you.
You became muted, Carol.
That happened.
I don't
There
know.
you go.
Back up a couple sentences.
Okay, so you've given away fellowships to thousands, and I will tell you that my story is not very different from everyone else. It is so needed.